What's happening, everyone? I hope you're well. Listen, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button. Let's grow this channel together. It is down below you. Hit that big red subscribe button. It helps grow the channel more than you'll ever know. And I would greatly appreciate it. Thank you very much. So, I want to take this moment to thank everybody who's followed me here. If you've came from TikTok, I just recently, over a week or so ago, started a TikTok page called Now or Never. This is the Now or Never podcast on YouTube. And it just talks about, and I want to go over things more in depth. As we know, that TikTok is a short form sort of content platform, whereas this gives me the opportunity to maybe go in a wee bit more depth to anybody who wants to actually sit and listen to me ramble on. As I said, I've got plenty of plans for the channel. I want to grow it. That's why I'm asking you to hit the subscribe button, because it definitely helps. And I want to get other like-minded people on here, because I think that we can all benefit from it. But in my first video, if you watched it, if you didn't, then don't worry about it. There's still plenty of time to go back and watch it. It's just about me introducing myself. But I did say in it, I didn't want to go in depth on why I went on a personal development journey. Well, I said I didn't want to go on about it for the first one. But I feel like I have to. I'm going to be completely transparent with you, honest and open. I actually recorded this before and I rambled on for about 30 minutes. I want to keep this relatively short because I understand that I haven't got the people on there who probably want to listen to me ramble on for 30 minutes at this point in time. You don't really know who I am, so why do you want to listen to me for 30 minutes? But I also want to get my point across, but I also want to tell you why I went on this journey and what this journey has done for me. The journey being changing my mindset. Why would I have to change my mindset? Was my mindset that bad before that I had to change it? I suppose if you go on a personal development journey, you believe that your mindset is that bad. And mine was. Mine was for various different reasons. A lot of people go on a personal development journey because they had shit happen to them in the past and it sent their mindset in a more negative way. They approach life in a more negative way because of shit that happened to them in the past. And I would say that 90% of us probably have taken the route of self-development because they didn't like who they were. They didn't like who they were, or they knew that the person that they were wasn't really them. Wasn't really them. So finding out a wee bit more about themselves, they could start to put that right. Why did I go on a personal development journey? I'm just going to keep, because I did ramble on about this and I want to keep things short. Yes, different things happened to me in my life growing up. Just a short backstory. I come from the Highlands of Scotland, a small town in the Highlands of Scotland. And I was born in 1985, grew up through the 90s. And it was a Highland sort of upbringing. The difference was that going through that stage in life, I came from a mixed race background. My father being black, my mother being white, and from the district that I am at, there wasn't many families like that. So apart from us, and I think there was another one family. So it was a bit different, and at one point in time through a sort of 3-year period, I got picked on a bit. Got called names that at the time I didn't know what they meant. I knew they weren't good and it hurt me, even though I didn't know what they meant. It still hurt me. I'd be walking down to school and come off the bus and a couple of kids, and there was always 3 kids that would throw stones at me, call me names. Things like that. I noticed that Christmas carol concerts for the school. And these are just wee things that you notice, that not the adults, but the kids, when my dad would walk in, would look at my dad. These are wee things that you notice. You don't say anything, but you notice it. And I used to think, what are you looking at my dad for? Didn't really quite put it together that, you know, it wasn't maybe what they're used to seeing. Didn't quite put that together, but I used to get really quite annoyed by, why are you looking at my dad? I'm not looking at your dad. Why are you looking at mine? But yeah, got kind of picked on. As I said, it went on for 3 years or something. Until one point in time I had enough. And I fought back. And it quietened the noise. I didn't get picked on again. There was no stones getting thrown at me. No names being called. And that really changed my mindset at a young age. That maybe sticking up for yourself was the way to go. Because people wouldn't try and hurt you anymore. They wouldn't call you names. So maybe just being a wee bit more, having a wee bit more self-respect. Now, I was young at the time, and that kind of, I took that with me on my journey. And I wouldn't say that I wasn't out fighting all the time. Yes, I got into fights and scraps, like we do. You know, anybody try to pretend that it happens, right? It's part of life. It happens. But I wouldn't say I was out fighting and all that all the time. But what I would say was it gave me a bit of an attitude. It gave me an attitude to life that, okay, it doesn't have to be physical, but I'm going to stand my ground. But that standing the ground meant I stood my ground with everything. Everything. So even when I knew I was wrong, even when I was having a debate with someone, I wouldn't admit I was wrong. They're wrong, they're wrong, they're wrong. I'm right. So it completely and utterly changed my mindset. Changed my mindset into I'm right and they're wrong. And I took that with me right through into, I don't know, late 20s. Until then I started maybe thinking the way that I look at life ain't exactly right, and I'm maybe not right all the time. Took me then a good couple of years to really go in a self-improvement journey, and that kind of came about at a time that probably should have been the happiest time of my life. Me and my wife, we work hard like everybody else, like you, I'm sure. And we managed to get ourselves to a position where we bought a bit of land and we built our own house. Now, as I said, I'm just kind of skimming over things. But at that point in time, things weren't quite right with me. I kind of didn't feel myself. I'm not going to go as far to say I was depressed, because I know a lot of people suffer with depression. And I suppose when I spoke to someone before who has suffered from depression, they did say to me, well, what is depression? Depression is whatever your depression is. But I would say that I wasn't happy, right, with myself. Not with anybody else, not with my wife, my kids. They're all amazing. But I wasn't happy with me. I was sad. Pretty down. Anyway, building the house kind of took my mind off of that and built the house. And eventually we built the house. Should have been a happy time, and it was a happy time. It was a happy time for my wife. It was a happy time, but I didn't feel happy. Anyway, we were probably in the house 6 or 7 months. 6 months? Maybe not even that long. And I remember sitting down to dinner, and I don't know, my wife will remember this. I don't know why she will watch this. She ain't going to watch this. Let's be honest. She listens to me rambling on way too much. There's no way she's going to sit down and watch this. But I remember sitting down with her. We were about to eat dinner. And I suppose what you would call a panic attack happened. This was something that was completely new to me. Never had this. Felt like I was about to, although I've not had a stroke, but it was like the symptoms of a stroke. My head was racing. I couldn't breathe. And I got up and I had to go outside. And I could not breathe and I was hyperventilating. Now, I don't really know if it was a panic attack. Anybody who's maybe had a panic attack can maybe leave in the comment section that, okay, that probably was a panic attack. I don't know. But I just remember my heart racing. I couldn't breathe. I didn't know what was going on. I had to get out. But when I was outside, I thought, this is the end. My wife came out. She calmed me down. We went back in. We sat down at the dinner table. And she said to me, enough's enough. You need to see someone. So I did. I knew then something needed to change. Anyway, I went, cutting a long story short, I went and seen a therapist. I wasn't happy about going to see a therapist. I'll be completely honest. I was not happy about it. But I did. I went. Even driving there, I remember distinctly saying to myself, I don't know why I'm here. I'm not going to tell this woman anything. I don't know why I'm here. But I went, and she was good at her job. Because what was supposed to be like an hour and a half session turned into a 3-hour session, and she actually had to put her hand up and stop it because I was rambling on. I got so much out. And I went and seen her again for a good few months after that. And it was probably one of the best things that I've ever done. But that wasn't the end of it. I then knew that was amazing, but I have to work on myself big time. And I was watching a lot of videos. I was watching a lot on self-improvement. I was watching a lot on mindset and the brain and how the brain works and operates and how the brain is the most powerful thing that we possess. And I watched videos of a pal of mine going on and talking about self-improvement. Now, I'm going to have this pal on here. He doesn't quite know this yet, but I'm going to get in touch with him very shortly. And I'm going to get him on here because he absolutely did send me on the path of self-improvement. And I don't know if it wasn't for him, and I've already told him this, if I would be doing the things that I'm doing today and achieving. And I have told him this, and I am going to get him on here. I think he'll probably be my first guest on here because it makes sense. It makes sense to have him on because he put me on this journey. This was a guy, in fact, I'll let him tell you his story. But listen, I watched a lot of his videos and yeah, I resonated big time. And that's how I started to go on my journey, and I'm so glad that I did because it completely and utterly changed my life. Things that I always wanted to do, as I said in the first episode, I wanted to start my own business. I'd done that. I'm sat here now. And as I said, if I lost it all tomorrow, I've now got the mindset that I'll get it back. I fully believe that. Whereas that wasn't me. I wasn't that confident. I came across to some people like I was confident. I've even said that to friends, that I was so insecure. And I think my wife would probably be able to vouch for that I was pretty insecure. Because she'd asked me in so many times, why do you act differently sometimes? I was like, no, I don't. No, I don't. Yes, you do. No, I don't. And she said that to me multiple times through the years. When we'd been together 23 years, she said that to me multiple times. No, I don't. Palm it off. But yeah, that's how I started going on that journey. And as I said, I told pals of mine that I just wasn't confident. And they, what? You're not confident. But it was fake. It was false. I wasn't being myself. I was trying to be someone else that people hopefully liked. So much so I was trying so hard that people disliked. You're like, what? It's too in your face. No, I'm in your face anyway. But yeah, I was too in your face and it was false. It was fake. People see through that. They start to see through that. And I started to see through that. I knew it was bullshit. And I had to change it. Listen, there's plenty of more content to come. As I said, I'm going to have people on here tell their story. I'm definitely going to have my friend come on. That is definitely going to be the first one. That just came to me. I was thinking to myself for long of who am I going to get on. I know a few people. I'll need to sit there and organise one. But I'm going to get my friend on, the first one where we can sit and we can chat. And he can tell you his story because he absolutely inspired me massively. And sometimes this is what it's all about. It's not your Tony Robbins. It's your friend, or it's your average Joe. As I said, I'm just an average Joe, and I hope this can spark something off in you. But listen, thank you very much. And before you go, please, if you haven't done so already, please hit that subscribe button. I want to try and get this channel growing, and the only way I can do that is with your help, so I appreciate it. But listen, always remember, it's now or never. I'll see you in the next one. Take it easy.